You ready? Good afternoon, welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is the City Council work session for the four-time All-Star Community, the Community of the Year, and most recently, the five award winner of the People's Choice Awards. Our first item on the agenda is an annual presentation from the Parks Board. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Today, Amy Husel, who is a chairperson for the Marion Park Board, will be giving an update on the achievements, goals, and initiatives for the last year for the department. So,
thanks, Carlene.
Thank you, Carlene. Appreciate it. All right, bear with me. This is the first time I've done this. So yes, as Carlene said, I'm the chair of the Park Board. And here are the 5 Park Board members. Myself, Amy Husel, Kyle Martin is our co-chair. Then John McIntosh is our secretary. And then Patty Weiss, who's in the back, and Brian Fiskus are members at large. And the 5 of us combined make 49 years of Park Board experience altogether. Just a little fun fact, I'm in sales, so we always like those. In 2016, the Park and Recreation Department put in place a master plan. And in that master plan, it provided the foundation, accelerated foundation, strategic foundation, pardon me, and direction for the growing community as well as the growing needs for Park and Rec Department needs as well. But part of that, we also developed a mission, values, goals, and vision. And you can see here the vision for the Park Department is to enrich Marion and the lives of our residents and surrounding communities by providing a wide range of recreational and educational opportunities for people of all ages that encourage healthy, active lifestyles and lifelong learning. And this is our vision. Our vision is that every person enjoys unlimited access to high-quality recreational programs and parks that enhance, preserve, and protect the environment. Now, this is pretty extensive, so I won't read this word for word. If you want me to, I can, but we can get to the slide later. But I will touch on the 8 goals that we do have. And you probably can see this within the Park Department and everything that goes on a daily basis. But we look at sustainable funding as a goal, adaptable facilities, Marion streetscapes, unified park identity, natural resources, integration, facility expansion, community programs, and resource optimization. So just a little bit about the Park Board meetings. So we meet the second Wednesday of each month at 4 p.m. and everybody is welcome. We meet at the Parks Administrative and Operation Building at Thomas Park. And you can see here the master plans that have been put in place in recent years. So the Park and Recreation Master Plan, like I had referenced, was put in place in 2016. Then the Neighborhood Park Master Plan for Gill and Prairie Hill were put in place in 2020. The Aquatic Feasibility Study was in 2021. Then the Indian Creek Master Plan, AKA Creekside Pride Project, was put into place in 2022. Then the Lau Park Master Plan was updated last year and a reforestation plan was put into place in 2020. So always moving forward, always aiming higher. And here's a little bit in regards to some facts about the park and recs. There's over 620 acres of park and 35 miles of trails that are maintained. 3,200 annuals were planted, as well as 3.7 acres of maintained flower beds. There are 150 recreation programs offered, 1,400 new trees planted, and 17,500 pool attendees this year. So year in review. So you can see that there was a lot accomplished in 2024 so far. Hasn't ended yet. So the Hannah Park Pavilion was completed with the ribbon cutting. The Prairie Hill Park which was the most recent ribbon cutting, as you can see in the picture to the right. The Butterfield playground replacement happened, and you will see that in some slides, future slides, pardon me. Turf maintenance program was put into place. A REAP grant that Brent Neighbor was able to secure for Site 1 of the Indian Creek Master Plan, as well as, again, the reforestation plan for 2024. So values. So we equated some of the values to the programs that we have in place. For equitability, Movies on the Move, to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to experience that. There's the Rec Assist Financial Assistance Program, which is a mouthful to say. Then numerous community partnerships, Sunrise Yoga, as well as with the YMCA, Mr. Brandt's art classes, Cricket Pitch, which I will say in 2023, that was completed and the ribbon cutting happened there. And if you haven't had an opportunity to get there out there on a Saturday, it's an amazing experience to get to learn cricket pitch because I had no idea. Then the Cedar Rapids and Hiawatha Parks partnerships. So accessible playgrounds, this will be a recurring theme too. Projects replace aging playgrounds with rubber or turf surfaces. Community engagements, the initiatives were twofold: Adopt a Flower Bed, which just completed its second year, and then Adopt a Spot. So as well as community beautification with all of the amazing flower beds and planters that Mary and her team have put in place, tree plantings, all the amazing holiday decorations. And then the natural resources initiatives, the waterway inclusion, again, the Indian Creek Master Plan, prairie initiatives, which the ones that come to my mind are obviously out at Lau Park, Waldo's Rock, in between the medians, between the roadways, and the urban reforestation. What's in the future? So the new aquatic center, I know we're all excited about that, but with that, that also provides an opportunity for the Willowwood redevelopment. And some possibilities are the pickleball inclusion, a farmer's market pavilion, then the Central Plaza is another coming soon, ice skating loop that I think you're gonna learn more about, the depot renovation, the Legion Disc Golf, which has expanded to 18 holes, should be completed in the near future. There's also the neighborhood park plans that are being put in place for our expanding community at Willow, Lucore, and Dostal properties. Then our Creekside Pride project, again, our Creekside Pride installation of Site 1. And then playground replacements. There are upgrades, the implementation of improved surfacing, which we would like in as many parks as possible, if not all, as well as the playground replacements for Ascension Park, Gill Park, Hobby, Donnelly, Willow Park, and Lau A&E. So then here are just some of the beautiful lights for the holidays. And some additional pictures that have captured what has occurred and will be occurring currently and in the future. So the amazing Aquatic Center, can't wait for the lazy river. The Central Plaza and the ice loop. Draper Park, which is the home to our Central Park caboose, which has been restored. And if you haven't been by there, that should be pretty much completed. I have not been there in the past couple weeks, but they've done an amazing job with that park as well. The Hannah Park Pavilion and Restroom. The Prairie Hill Park again. And then here's the Butterfield Playground replacement. You can see on the left, the old and dated, and how it had the new and improved playground equipment, which gets used extensively with all of the classes that go on. And before, if anybody has any questions, I just want to thank the Park and Rec Department and everybody involved, Carlene, Steph, Brent, Darcy, Drew, as well as Mary, and I'm probably forgetting somebody, but want to thank them for all of their hard work every day in and out to make this community parks and rec programs amazing and second to none. And then I'd also like to thank the city council for all of your support and everything you do for us. So,
Thank you. Before we take questions, I would just want to thank you and the board, and all your volunteers, and because this is one of the major ways that we, first of all, impact people's quality of life, and one of the major ways that residents here experience the city is through the parks and through our trails, and it's definitely become one of the things that make us stand out as a community, and it's just a point of pride for all of us. So thanks for the partnership in wanting to serve people and give them all these amazing opportunities. Questions?
You discovered it.
Oh, well, why don't you tell us who won the race down the slides at the Prairie Hill Park?
Doing this again.
Ribbon cutting.
Good call.
involved in that.
No,
You both won.
I do have a question.
go ahead.
I echo everything the mayor said except for the slide race thing. But my question for you, just with all of your guys' perspective and years of experience on the park board,
Mhm.
through your lens as the chairperson, what do you think kind of are the biggest, maybe what's like the biggest challenge right now in the parks world, but also like the biggest opportunity? We talk a lot about there's so much going on, so I'm just kind of curious.
There is so much going on. And I think, and a lot of it's taken, we get the, and Harleen chime in if you at any point, but from the park board, we're there to support and move projects forward and to help what we can. And we try to do that and get involved into the projects. Like I'm involved with the Creekside Pride Project initiative and stuff. I think that from our perspective, I don't always see the obstacles. It's just the support that we can provide to Seth and his staff and everybody that's involved in the park department. That's a really good question. Something to think about too.
How are you dealing with the endless requests for pickleball courts? Like what's your approach to that?
Yes, I get that frequently out and about.
Yeah. so do we.
And I just say there's, I make sure that they're aware of the ones at Hannah Park and that there's all the equipment out there. And I've even, myself and my family have been out there to utilize it. So I just make sure, everybody knows they're at the YMCA, they can utilize them at the YMCA, at Hannah Park, up at Marion High School, and just reassure everybody that it's at the top of our minds and that is something that, we will expand that more than likely. No promises, but more than likely because we know there is such a demand for it. So.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think one of the answers about the pickleball courts, and I am at the Y all the time, and like this morning, there were probably at least 40 people playing pickleball, and it'll be that way for the next 4 months.
Oh, absolutely.
So they're at the Marion Y every morning from 8 to noon. But I saw on the slide that pickleball courts are included in the aquatic center project. Is that correct?
As of right now.
I saw that on the slide.
Here, let me see if I can go back. Just has pickleball inclusion. I don't know if we've identified.
So that's just-
definite sites.
So we
but-
have the aquatics portion and then we'll have that extra land that we have.
Right.
So that's just one of the ideas that we have come up with for utilizing some of that space. So as, going in and would that be a great place to add pickleball courts? So it's not part of the actual aquatic center, but it's part of that park development land.
So in other words, if I talk to people, it might be there in the future, but it definitely right now is not.
At the moment, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Potentially.
Yes, just to add to that, that is something that will look at Thomas Park as well. Like, where is the best place for that type of facility? So it could be, but we want to really lay out that plan and what is the highest needs, and then where's the best location for that.
Okay. Anyone else? Anything else to add?
I don't think so at this time. Thank
Keep up the
you.
great work. Thanks
Thank
for
you for the
coming in.
opportunity.
Yep. Thanks, Patty. Okay, the next item is this rambunctious group over here. Winter Lights Program, the Leadership in Action class. And Mike's trying to hypnotize us with his flashing lights.
I just want to get everybody's attention because this is such an exciting presentation. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I was gonna say, those aren't our slides, but I was gonna leave them up for the time being. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for some time to speak with you about this tonight. My name's Mike Simprich.
And I'm Nikki Wilcox. We're the dynamic duo, as you can tell for this presentation.
We're here tonight on behalf of the Marion Leadership and Action Team, two of the greater part sitting behind us here. And we're here to speak with you about doubling your holiday cheer next year in Marion. As we all know, the peace tree has been going up steadily over the last week or two in City Square, despite construction with the new Central Plaza. This is a practice that first started when the tree was gifted to Marion back during the first Gulf War. The park launched a Christmas in the Park event in 1993, where the lighting of the tree was very important to that event. The tree was initially planted. Unfortunately, it didn't survive well because of placement. And so we've replaced it with an artificial tree with much more spectacular lighting and customizable options so that we can build it out and expand it over time. Because here in Marion, we're always reaching higher. Every year, we add more lights to the Uptown Plaza area. We've recently expanded lighting into Art in the Alleyway and significantly into the North Plaza area. And so as this south portion of the Plaza project expands, we just continue to open opportunities to expand this event and the lighting in Marion. This year, the Marion Leadership and Action Team is looking to purchase two different ornamental displays to go into the park for next year's program. The estimated or budgeted cost for the two items you see in the photos here is approximately $37,000. We would purchase those items in March of 2025 at a discount following the holiday season. And then they would be installed with lighting and holiday displays in the following year in 2025. The reason we're here today is to ask for matching dollars from the city and from the council to match up to $20,000 as we fundraise for these items. To speak quickly about the two items we're looking to purchase, the pictures don't really do much justice. The sleigh in the top photo is actually large enough for multiple people to climb onto and sit upon for a photo opportunity. And the present or gift box in the bottom photo is also large enough for folks to walk through and stand inside of for another photo opportunity and unique experience in the Central Plaza holiday display. Some of the things that our team is doing to fundraise, we have letters that have gone out to previous donors. We're also recruiting or engaging new donors through our different contacts through the leadership group. We're doing calls and direct follow-up. There's a percentage of the Oktoberfest fundraiser or fundraising from the event that will go towards this fundraiser to support the purchase. We currently have a 50-50 raffle going on that was kicked off at the Chocolate Walk Uptown last month and will conclude at the Peppermint Walk at the end of this month or beginning of next month. And the current year-to-date total that we've raised is over $5,000. There's also other events going into the early in the year next year. We're looking at doing some guest bartending at the Uptown Snug, where donations will go towards this fundraising effort. And then we're also working on a potential bingo opportunity where people can tip and a percentage of the proceeds would go towards fundraising as well.
So here's some proposed locations. We've been working with the Parks Department and we are very lucky to have a person on the Parks Department in our class. So here are some 5 proposed locations. The class isn't sold on like, oh, it has to be these 2, because we also want input from the Parks Department, from City Council, from staff, just to make sure that everyone is happy with where these 2 light installments will be placed. So this is just, it was Seth, correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay, yeah, so this is where, yeah, Seth's team decided that these 5 locations would be good spots for the light installations. And so as a team, as a Marion team, can choose which 2 spots. And if you guys have input, we'd love to hear that too on where we'd like to have those for next year. So what our team's vision is for next year is that the goal of the 2 light installations is just to help increase the ambiance and the experience that people will feel when the residents come and community members will come just to enjoy this plaza. And so our whole goal is that next winter time, you know, someone can grab espresso from Uptown Snug and then a hot chocolate, and then let's grab a cinnamon roll from the Eat Shop and come take the family or our spouses, our friends, and let's skate around the ice loop. But the fun doesn't end there. Is okay, now let's go to this sleigh. And like Mike said, the sleigh is large enough to hold multiple adults. Let's get an Instagram worthy picture or Facebook worthy or Snapchat that people be able to post and really celebrate the Marion Plaza and all the holiday fun that's going into it. And then let's walk over to the gift box and get the whole family inside, take another selfie, slap that one on the Christmas card, of really just adding to the experience that we're all being able to have and celebrate in this plaza. And this is this year's Marion Leadership in Action Group. So we are 2 of the 17 in this class and have some wonderful classmates here as well. That this is our baby, this is our project. Every time that we meet, we are constantly looking for innovative ways to help fundraise and get that money, because we are not settled on just buying 1 installation. We are going to buy 2. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We want those 2, and we're gonna make sure that we make that happen. So thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Go ahead.
I just want to say great presentation. I think this is a great organization that helps promote this. I've seen more Christmas cards that were photographed around the Marion light sign over the last couple of years. So I was fortunate enough to get that letter that came around that was talking about the donations. So I got to see a couple of those items already. I think they're fantastic. It'll be great to see them in our Uptown Park. So good job. Congratulations. It's great. Very exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, in my opinion, we cannot have enough lights uptown. I mean, the more the merrier, the larger that tree, the better, so you can see it, you know, from Alburnett. So again, I think we're on the right path. Marion is becoming a destination, and having these winter lights is helping with that. You know, for a couple of months out of the year, next year, we're gonna have the ice trail open. I mean, the uptown area next year is absolutely gonna be rocking. So to me, this is just building on all that excitement and the momentum that we have. So to me, this is a no-brainer. So I'm more than happy to support it.
Thanks for continuing with the project. It's been a good partnership for a number of years, and it's a good demonstration of community mindedness. So thanks for setting the example, and appreciate you doing it. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to bring kind of it's adjacent topic, but kind of the same topic and a chance for discussion. A couple of us were chatting yesterday on council about the timing of the lights, and perhaps making them all of our lights in the Artway and future lights lit up a little bit earlier than we have done historically, just because Marion is becoming more of a regional destination for with the lights and the Instagrammable photos. Just kind of wondering what other thoughts were on that, if folks hadn't been part of that discussion yet. I'm definitely
Probably a discussion we'd have with the Parks Department.
Right, yeah.
I would say, right? Staff.
So so this came out of our check-in last night. And we've had some preliminary conversations today with our partners at the Economic Development meeting. So we are going to be in a position where we can turn those on quicker. And then what we'll be doing is talking next year in the out years to coordinate getting those lights on earlier. The part of the challenge is our public works crews and taking down the banners and the flags and putting on the different lights. So Sixth Avenue gets a little difficult, and kind of the proximity to Veterans Day. So we want to make sure those stay up as long as they can. So it's a timing thing, but kind of what we were talking about earlier today is targeting the week before Thanksgiving to try to get those on. But coordination, a great idea. Coordination is going to be a thing that we'll want to make sure we kind of map it out, but I think we're going to try to get it this weekend. And if it can't be this weekend, definitely by Wednesday of next week to get them on earlier.
Yep. And just to add just a little bit to that, the guys are putting bands on for what they attach the snowflakes on. They're actually made those and will be installing them this year. So next year will be a little easier because they won't have to put the brackets on, and then, so it'll work a little bit
That's true.
easier next year, but definitely want to keep our veterans banners up as long as we can. So that's part of, and there's like just on Sixth Avenue, we have just a little over 60 of them. So that takes a little while to take them down and then put the snowflakes up.
Randy, you had something else?
Yeah, I just want to, that'd be great if we could celebrate with those that are coming into town for Thanksgiving to help kick that off with the increased population. Mike, I just want a follow-up question because we had some questions when we started this. How are we doing on the storage? Are we still got some capacity to keep adding more lights to the inventory and we're doing okay on the storage room for off-season?
Yeah, that's definitely a consideration to keep in mind. As the effort has grown, so has the volume. And as the tree grows, so does the need for storage space. So far, we're managing it. I think we're looking at other opportunities, and we're also finding more efficient ways to kind of package that and put it away for the season when we do. But it'll definitely need to be a consideration along with future expansion.
Good, great, thank you.
Anything else to add?
Thanks for your time.
Thank you all. Have a good evening. All right, next we have the UTV discussion. Chief, is that you?
Yes, sir. I've just got the one slide, so I'm going to keep my seat. Again, this is your AT or UTV review. When we passed the ordinance back in 2022, you all had asked for updates. I believe it was every 6 months or so. I don't have anything to report this go around. The last things we had was 2023, and both of those were stolen UTVs. We talked about those, some kids from Four Oaks, and then another kid had stolen, I think it was his grandfather's, and took it for a ride in Thomas Park. But since then, we've had nothing involving them. I don't see them personally a lot anymore. You know, at first I saw them quite a bit. I just don't see them as much anymore. I know our officers are out there. If they see one doing a violation, that they would stop them, but we're just not seeing it. I think the only thing I would ask is do you want to keep getting these 6-month updates? Or are you happy with the information going in the monthly report? I'm happy to do either one. It's a pretty easy lift.
I mean, I for one would be fine without the 6-month report. I've been pleasantly surprised. I'm like you, I haven't seen very many of them. I don't see them out too many times. Occasionally I'll see a golf cart going around, but that's not this, but that's a whole separate story. But you know, I mean, I don't know that we've had any issues or anything that's significant to speak of. So I think the report was so we can kind of see how it's going.
Yep.
So I don't know what anyone else thinks about it, but are you looking for a consensus on that? Kind of
Just some
tonight, or
direction.
Direction?
We instituted this report out when council was originally considering it just because of the unknown.
Yeah. There was apprehension because we didn't know. Yeah.
Right, and certainly council's, you know, we want to be responsive to council's wishes on this. I would think that we can include it in the report. One thing that we've shared this with council before, that if staff sees a trend, we will make sure that we will bring things forward. But certainly it's whatever council is most comfortable with.
Anyone have an opposing view to that?
As needed.
Okay. All right. Is that what you need, Chief?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is a public safety training facility update. The other chief.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Here to provide an update on this multi-year CIP project that's been Just really exciting to see them come in fruition. Again, just some background on this. This is being funded through a direct funding source and through city support. We did receive funding from a donation back in 2014 that was contributed towards this project. The project's on schedule. It's within budget, and we're excited to show you some imagery of some of the construction that's well underway and to tee up one of the items that's on consent later this week in regards to the next phase of the project, and we'll cover that in just a second. But this is, and you'll see the new greenery there, that is a brand new grass right adjacent to the Public Works facility. You'll see the first structure that's under construction there. Go to the next slide. So this is the site plan where you'll actually see the foundation of that structure that is under construction, the current training tower site. You'll see that with the gold arrow. And then the next phase is the red arrow, which is the future burn building. And remember, there are two structures. The first structure that's under construction now is for warm and cold training. That is not for live fire. It will have plumbed theatrical smoke in it to really work on our training mechanics for emergency response tactics and tasks. And then in the structure that's coming adjacent to it next on the site is where we will actually conduct live fire training there and really work in that live fire environment. So this is again, some more imagery of the building that's under construction. Just as a reminder, there are 3 key sections of that first training structure. There's a 4-story tower section, a 2-story residential section, and then there's a single-story annex on the end. And you'll see that where that red arrow comes across. And so one of the things that I want to share, because a question did come when we started the first tower from council, was about future agreements with partners in the region on the utilization of the site. And Division Chief Cale McBurney is here with me, and I can tell you just in conversations that are happening as recent as last week, routinely that we are having conversations with our partners about the opportunities this is going to bring, not just within the fire service, but also through emergency management and other fire departments from across eastern Iowa, and there's a lot of excitement building. No agreements are in place as of yet, but that is something that we've talked about that will be coming as the project comes closer to a conclusion, because people will be able to see what this campus actually looks like, what this in fruition will provide value to. Seeing it, hearing about it, but then actually walking through it are completely different things. So we're very excited about it. Here to answer any questions. And Cale, if you wanted to provide just a little bit of context on some of the conversations you've had with some of our peer agencies and kind of the excitement that's building around the project.
So I quarterly meet with the training chiefs within the corridor, North Liberty, Iowa City, and Cedar Rapids, so that we can discuss some different things that are going on. Brought this up in our meeting actually yesterday. They seem pretty excited and willing and excited about getting to see this and coming in and being able to utilize it. It's one of those deals that until we reach that point where they can actually come out and stand there and then start to envision the training that they can do there as well, and some of the joint training that we can do together is a big part of that. You know, we talk about it, we show pictures, but until they can actually walk out and see it. Also discussed the ability of being able to bring some more classes there through another association with a fire group that is more statewide, in helping that to bring that stuff there. So there's been a lot of discussion towards that as well. So hopefully in the future, we are doing a lot of activities.
So
there.
none of the other communities or departments have their own training facilities?
North Liberty has some Connex trailers similar to what our burn building will be, but it's a lot smaller. It's only like 3 Connex trailers. Iowa City has a facility down there. Cedar Rapids, their facility that they had, the flood to 2008 kind of put a damper on that training tower, but they never really had a true burn facility. They always had to go to Kirkwood. And I know that their last rookie academy, talking with them about all this, they had actually went to Iowa City to do their live fire training with the rookie academy. And I'm like, well, hopefully you can come do that here. So
One more way Marion is leading. Awesome.
Yep.
Questions, comments? We should just add that the fire department, or the fire station number 1 recently won another award. We were notified last week, so I think that makes 11 or 12 different awards that fire station has won across the world. So congrats to everyone. Ryan, you had something to
Yeah,
add?
thank you, Mayor. Councilman Harper mentioned he's going to be late to today's work session, but do want to provide a shout out to him. There are a couple of the photos in the presentation were taken by Councilman Harper. I know he spends a lot of time photographing some of our key projects, Tower Terrace, and some of the sewer projects in this. And so do want to make sure we recognize him for that extra effort.
Thank you.
Lastly, Mayor and Council, I would add just the real collaboration, this project, with some of the complexity and the funding sources and the multi-year phasing of it. Really the collaboration across multiple departments and Team Marion is really helping this move forward as efficient and effective as possible. And we wouldn't be able to do it without the assistance of the subject matter experts at Public Works and Engineering, legal, finance, and getting into some of those spaces that traditionally the fire service doesn't get involved in when we build buildings. So really thankful for their collaboration, and it's on target. We're very excited about it, and it's going to be awesome when it's done.
And thank goodness for the gift in 2014 that has made this possible too.
Absolutely.
So that was a wonderful thing from that family. All right, anything else? Oh, go ahead.
Quick.
Gage.
I know you we're already mentioning Iowa City and North Liberty, but outside of like the Marion metro area, how far do you think those partnerships would be like reaching? Is that mostly Lynn County and then like Iowa City and North Liberty, or is there potential for people even like departments even further out doing partnerships with us to use this?
We have some preliminary plans to host some nationwide training opportunities here that are nationwide known courses. So I think the reach really transcends Iowa to even more regionally within multiple states around us coming in from out of state to attend future training opportunities.
That's great. I didn't even think about that. So that's great.
Yep.
Thank you both. Next, we have Carlene again with Central Plaza Ice Loop Operations Plan. Oh, okay. Your name was on the agenda, Carlene.
Not Carlene, you got us. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Brinkley Braden. I'm the rec coordinator out at Lau Park.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm Drew Mullenhour, Parks Maintenance Manager.
Welcome.
Yeah, and we are going to discuss about the ice loop. This is a follow-up from earlier in the month that Seth presented. Right now, we're going to talk about the soft opening, where the tentative date is January 16th of 2025. And this soft opening will last 3 weeks. So it'll open January 16th and end February 1st of 2025. And during these 3 weeks, it'll be open Thursdays, Friday, and Saturdays. Rentals and admission during the soft opening will be free. And then after the 3 weeks, the ice will be maintained through the season for residents to use at their leisure time. So the soft opening, with that, it'll just be maintained by rec staff and maintenance staff during those hours. Full operations will kick off November of 2025. The peak hours will be structured use for rentals, higher level of maintenance, use of fire pits, the depot warming room, and programming and special events. In November of 2025 through February of 2026, this will be our main season for the ice loop at the Central Plaza. There will be skate rentals and admission will be available, and staffed hours will be Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, with holidays, programs, and special event hours to be determined, and then 2 days closed for maintenance. For future programming, we will have things like Learn to Skate for the public and also a partnership with the schools. For special events, we'll have the Marion Ice and Christmas in the Park, along with promotional days in January and February. For staffing, for the soft opening that will happen in January of 2025 and run for those 3 weeks, it'll be a combination of existing full-time and part-time staffing. Full operations that'll kick off in November of 2025 will be seasonal part-time. We'll have ice loop attendants that will facilitate admissions and skate rentals. And then they will also oversee the rink and fire pits, just to make sure everything is going as planned. And then we will have, sorry.
Our ice loop operators will maintain the ice surface during staffed hours as well as during daily leisure time hours. And they'll also take care of all the custodial needs up around the depot and in the plaza.
Revenue opportunities, our cost and recovery, what we're aiming for is 75 to 100%. And this is affordability and equitability for all. With this, we don't want to turn anyone away. We have programs like Rec Assist that we use for swimming pool passes. And if someone comes to us, we're definitely just not going to turn them away because we want this to be for everyone in the community. For admissions, we're going to do adult, youth, and family passes. We'll have skate rentals where you can also do season passes. In the concessions at the skate shack, we'll have pre-packaged snacks and hot drinks. We're doing these minimally just because we don't want to compete with any of the restaurants in the uptown area. And then other merchandise like hats and gloves, those are just things that people seem to forget. So we want to provide those for the community as well. Other revenue opportunities are sponsorships, the ice resurfacer, digital advertising, ice painting, banners, facility rentals, and then along with program and special events.
Maintenance, so the soft opening is gonna serve as our training period. There's a lot that we don't know about what goes into taking care of an ice rink right now. So the soft opening is gonna be our primary training period where the contractor is actually gonna train us how to build the ice, how to take care of the ice. And that's gonna kind of determine how often we're resurfacing the ice during those peak hours. Right now, we're aiming for every hour and a half. Then the days where it's not peak hours that we're not charging admission, we would just have daily grooming at this time of the ice surface. But that's subject to change after our soft opening, when we kind of learn some of those things. Some of the other things, ice skate sharpening, something that'll periodically need done. Again, that's something we're gonna kind of learn with our first year in the soft opening. And some of those custodial items will need done occasionally, especially during the peak hours, with the depot being open. And then we'll have occasional snow removal depending on snow. All right, so this kind of gives you a look at how the plaza is gonna be laid out. So, all right. Right here, you can see the main entrance. So that's where the loop, people that are using the loop are gonna enter there. And then we have the resurfacer entrance on the other side. So that will allow basically safe entrance with the resurfacer onto the loop without interfering with the main entrance. The main entrance will also be an area with rubber to protect the skates when people are changing their shoes and things. The skate shack is located in front of the depot. So that's located there due to the level surface and then the access to the utilities that are gonna be needed to operate the skate shack. Ice resurfacer is going to be housed on the west end of the depot. And then in the middle, you'll have your restrooms and your lobby. And then that rentable space will function as a warming room during peak hours.
For future next steps, December 2024, there will be a review and direction regarding fees. January 2025 will be that soft opening that will run for 3 weeks. In February 2025, the soft opening will end and we'll do follow-up operations and maintenance plan for that. May 2025 will be the ribbon cutting. July 2025 is approval of fees. And November 2025 will be official grand opening for the ice loop. Any questions?
Questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, can you talk briefly about the 2 days of maintenance? By the way, I think this is a terrific project. Glad to see the soft opening is going to happen this winter. So I think that's exciting. But on the 2 days that you're closed for maintenance, at first blush, that seemed like a a lot of downtime. So are you, during those 2 days, does that mean nobody can be on it at all during those 2 days? And then can you also talk about what kind of maintenance goes on for 2 days?
Yeah, so tentatively, we have the 2 days for maintenance, just because we're still learning. The soft opening is gonna teach us a lot, but depending on how damaged the ice surface is, sometimes you have to build another layer of ice, which can take time. It's gotta have a certain cure time. But a lot of that's gonna be in our training period where we learn about that. The 2 days for maintenance also allows some time for rec to use it for programming and things like that. So it allows those hours for you guys to get on there that aren't during peak hours as well.
So when you say rec is gonna use it,
For,
that-
for their programming. and-
Potentially, that's where we
yeah.
would have, where they would sign up on our rec desk and we would have just individual,
okay,
just group.
rec program, I
programming.
got you.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so those would be there in those, so the 2 days is not just maintenance, it's maintenance and programming,
Mhm. And that's what we'll also learn, like Drew said, with the soft opening, just to see.
subject to change.
Yes,
Learning,
exactly.
all right.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
The question I have for you guys, between all the extra holiday lights next year, the bigger tree being put in place next year, and of course this ice loop, I would say it's probably a safe bet that next year's Christmas in the park will probably be like the largest we've ever seen. So regarding the ice loop, like what's the, I guess, the staffing plan, and how do you manage that capacity when there'll probably be the most demand for that ice loop, especially for that event? Like what's the safety aspect and how many people can like be on the ice? And then is there like a time limit? Like how do we keep, or is that conversation not, am I thinking too far ahead?
No, definitely. With the soft opening, like your question of how many people can be on the ice at a time, that is something that we're gonna look at. And we have discussed also if we do, when you do rent skates and admission, is that a 2-hour time period? Is it an hour and a half? Just to make sure that we're not overpopulating the ice loop so people still can skate freely without bumping into someone while they're going around. I know that we will discuss it at a later date and then bring that back to you guys.
Okay, that makes sense. I just think with those special events, we might have to adjust what those time limits are. and
Yeah.
let you guys know.
whole year to plan.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Sarah?
Thank you for this, and I love this project, and I know it's very complicated as you work through things. As you were going through it, I just had a couple questions. When you were discussing or showing that there would be the admissions, that's one of my questions. Is there a different cost for Marion residents, or is it the same for everyone?
As of right now, it'll be the same for everyone, just how we have it at the pool.
Okay. And then my other one was in the layout. So I rent my skates and then I have to go and I put them on by the skate shack and then I walk to where the main entrance is.
So the main entrance will serve as kind of the area to put your skates on. We're gonna have storage cubbies, so you can keep your belongings in there, your shoes. So that's gonna be the rubber matted area, so you can safely walk with your skates on the hard surface. So that is gonna be the primary area. So you'd walk from the skate shack over there and then change into your skates there.
Okay, was a big question of mine because I having lived through this and people without shoes and people with skates on. And I'm thinking, oh, someone has to use the rest. How are people going to maneuver between there? Are they going to take their skates off? Are we going to make sure there's rules up that you can't be in that?
She's
walking on the
she's
slippery-
from Minnesota. She knows all about this stuff.
A foot or two cut sliced open by a skate. So,
Yeah.
people walking, but so danger. And I'm just picturing little kids because I love this. I'm just like, I'm thinking of the flow of what the rules are going to be with people taking off the skates on, or if it's icy around the park and I can just skate on over to that little area, Okay, those are just a couple of questions, but I love this and it's highly anticipated and appreciate all of the work you all are doing to make this work for the community.
Can you just repeat real quick? There's the 3-week soft opening, which that's gonna be fully staffed and everything, right? And then after that, it's gonna remain available, but not staffed or?
Correct.
Yep, we'll continue to groom the ice surface just for people to
Okay.
use in their leisure time during park
For
hours.
the remainder of the
Until we,
season.
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I think like communication is gonna be really, really important
Mhm.
because people have all these expectations, right? And when the expectations aren't met, then there's disappointment. So I think communication to the community about what this time period is, and that the real opening is going to be next year,
Mhm.
next fall. And, that this is a trial period, whatever it is, somehow communicate that this is not exactly how it's going to be, next year for the full season. Just so that people understand, this is just sort of a in-between period, I guess, whatever you call it or how you describe it, I don't know. But I think just communicating to the public what it really means is really important so that they understand that,
Mhm.
this is not exactly how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have our own webpage as well throughout the city, just how the Marion Pool has its own webpage to keep updates. We're going to have that for the ice loop as well for the community.
Fantastic. Can't wait.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for all your work.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Mike Barkalow with the snow and ice program and policy.
Yes, Your Honor. So for this item, in the packet, we put our draft policy in there. That is basically has our primaries, secondaries. It has how we're gonna do, snow removal, ice removal. We do have the second and third reading of the snow parking ordinance on the agenda for Thursday, but we wanted to at least get this in front of you. With coordinating with Lynn County, Cedar Rapids, and our school districts, it's just taking a little bit longer to do it the right way. But we want to make sure that we at least present this so that city council has something to consider. Because should snow happen before now and the next set of council meetings, that's how we're going to proceed. So we want to make sure that we're level setting and having those expectations, because we don't want to just go rogue and start doing it without bringing that to city council. So there's already flurries expected. It's a low chance this week. So we just wanted to make sure that that's in front of everyone. But it's been really fun to have those conversations with Lynn County and Cedar Rapids and how can we do things better as a metro. So for example, and those 2080s will eventually come to city council for consideration. But a good example for you is Pepperwood, that area that's behind Home Depot and Emil's Hideaway. That's a area that we actually have to drive through Cedar Rapids to get to in order to plow. That's an area that we're actually trading with Cedar Rapids. So they're actually gonna plow that area back there, that residential neighborhood. And instead the area north of Collins or 100 and east of Marion Boulevard, that area there that's technically Cedar Rapids, we're gonna plow that portion for them so that they're not driving through Marion to plow portions of Cedar Rapids. So we're doing things that are efficient and effective for both communities. Same thing with Lynn County. We just built that section of Tower Terrace that's open. There's technically a section in the middle where Meadow Knolls is. That's the county, but they would have to either drive through Cedar Rapids or drive through Marion to get there. So we're gonna plow that section. So it just takes a little bit of time to have those conversations and sit down. Even the school districts, we're talking about where the kiddos get picked up on the bus versus where our primaries and secondaries, so that say next year, maybe they move some of the bus stops so that maybe they don't have to delay school because they're on a primary, or instead of canceling school, they only have to do a 2-hour delay. So having those conversations as a metro is very beneficial. So that's why we wanted to bring this to you. This will come to you each year as we continue to grow and our snow routes change. So we just want to bring that to you and show you everything, the good things that we're doing on that.
It's amazing what good communication and collaboration can accomplish. So yeah, working smarter. That's great. Any questions for Mike? Okay, thank you, Mike. Next item is our agenda review for the Thursday meeting. The only item that's marked by the staff for discussion is A6 on the second page of the agenda. Any item prior to A6 that anyone would like to discuss? All right, Leanne, A6.
Thank you, Your Honor. At the November 7th council meeting, a site plan came forward for Freddy's out at Easttown Crossing. Just a reminder to everyone, in April of 2023, we split out the development agreement we had with Easttown Crossing so that the hotel was a separate agreement, and we pulled out the 3 lots that were not yet developed. So Freddy's is one of those 3 lots. that is being developed, and this was under a memorandum of understanding and follows that same incentive that we had outlined. So it's a 12-year sliding scale tax increment finance incentive with a maximum of 420,000.
Okay, questions for Leanne? Okay, thanks, Leanne. Any item after A6 through the end of the agenda that anyone would like to discuss or have questions about it?
Your Honor.
Oh,
if I-
yes, Mike.
If I could, I just want to talk on the regular agenda, item D8, but we can wait if there's other items before that.
Oh, go ahead.
So D8, on Thursday, we will have a public hearing regarding the Oak Shade Cemetery crypt wall repair. If you looked at those bids, it came in well over engineer's estimate. So we are gonna recommend rejecting those bids. We're then going to have a value engineering meeting with all plan holders to find out. For those that have been on council for a while, we did this the first time we bid Art in the Alley. We only had one bidder and it came in about 200% of the engineer's estimate. So same thing here. We're gonna invite all the plan holders, have a conversation. Are there things that we can do to change the plans to make it more constructible? Are there reasons why there was only one bidder? Try and find out from their perspective why we only got the results that we got. And then based on those answers that we get, then we will pivot, whether it's redesigning how we are bidding the project or whether we look at alternatives, such as taking the remains and putting them in a conventional graveyard and taking the crypt wall down. But that'll have to be many discussions that we have to have based on legal parameters and then also what's the best for the city. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of inputs that'll have to go into that, but just
Yeah.
want to let you know on
Kind
that
of a
particular item.
Sensitive topic, so.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I actually drove down there this morning to make sure I understood what that area looked like. It's the only area like that in the entire cemetery. How old, I was trying to look at some of the dates. I mean, how long has that crypt area been there?
So the earliest graves are from not last century, but the century before. And they span all the way to the very latest one, I believe, was in the 1970s or 80s, but that was a major outlier. That was an adult child who lived into their 80s who was buried in the same plot as their family, but most of them are from the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, appreciate you wanting to be thoughtful about it.
Yep, so there will be an item that we'll add, that'll be D9, that'll be a motion rejecting the bid, so that will be an item that will be added. We will still have the public hearing on Thursday, but just wanted to give you a heads up on that.
Okay, any other questions for Mike? Any questions on anything else on the agenda? All right, if not, we'll proceed for the motion for the closed session.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the closed session regarding personnel matters as permitted under section 21.51I of the Code of Iowa.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to adjourn to closed session regarding personnel matters as permitted under the Code of Iowa. Can we have the legal counsel's statement, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have reviewed the proposed subject matter for the closed session and find the same to be appropriate under Iowa Code, section 21.51I.
Thank you. Any discussion before we vote? Roll call, please.
Mr. Jensen?
Yes.
Mr. Harper? Mr. Miskman?
Yes.
Mayor Abu-Osley?
Yes?
Ms. Menzer?
Yes.
Mr. Brandt?
Yes.
Mr. Sternad?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for joining us. We're now adjourned to closed session.